Hey GlamFam, Linwood here, and today I'm going to show you how to do some box braiding techniques like this here with hair added, of course. And I'm going to even show you how to taper off those ends really thin like this here so you don't end up with this super bulky braid. And it's actually a little easier than you might think. The tools that you're going to need for this tutorial, of course, is going to be someone's hair. In this instance, I'm using straight hair, which is a little bit harder to do, so I'll tell you guys some techniques to make it look good on straight hair as well. I'm going to use some braiding hair, and I tried to get one that's as close as possible to the color of this hair here. I will tell you now, it is a blend and it's really soft. I don't care for this hair per se. Usually I prefer Canicolon because it's easier to burn or to roll and dip and hold its shape when it comes down to trying to shape the braids when you're finished. This one here does not burn very well, and it also doesn't roll and dip well. So I'm not a huge fan of this style of hair, and it kind of feels like it's cutting your fingers even though it's really soft. So watch out for that if you're using extension hair. Canicolon, in my opinion, is the best and it's the most versatile. Toyocolon looks nice, but it will cut the mess out of your fingers and you definitely cannot burn or dip it. So you definitely want to keep in mind what type of hair you're using and why. Okay, so we've got our hair, we've got a head of hair here, and of course we're going to need a set of butterfly clips. We're going to need some duckbill clips like these here. My camera will pick it up. Here we go. Duckbill clips like that. Okay, and I'm also going to need a rat tail comb. Now if you prefer, you can use an all-purpose comb, so it's entirely up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys using my rat tail because it's my preference, and I'll go ahead and get started with that in a moment. Now I know I want to start off with a block here, and I've got about maybe a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch block, and I have a pretty good amount of hair in there to kind of give you that box braid type of feel. So I want to start off by creating my block of hair, and I'll go ahead and pull you guys closer so I can show you, and then I'll back you guys up so I can show you how to stretch this hair and make it work. If you'll notice here, I've already got this first braid done just to kind of give you an idea of what it'll look like. I'm just going to pick up another section about like so, and this excess hair here I'm going to actually pull up and clip with my duckbill. I prefer the duckbill there just because it's thinner and that way it's not getting in my way. And usually with straighter hair, because you had a lot more flyaways, I also prefer to kind of hit around the perimeter of that section that I'm braiding. I don't want to have it all loose in there. So I've got my section of hair here. I will say it does help if that hair is not freshly cut and you have a little bit of natural taper on those ends, so that does make a huge difference. So now that we've got our section, I'll go ahead and back you up some, and then I'll show you how to stretch this hair. So I'm gonna start off first by grabbing my hair, and let's back you up just a little bit. I'm gonna start off by grabbing my hair here, and I'm gonna take a section of hair, and you kind of have to learn to develop like a feel for it. But honestly, this is about, I'd say, 3 times the thickness of the hair that's in this section here. Now you can go with a smaller amount of hair if you like. It's just depending on what size braid you want when you're finished. So I've got my section of hair here. You can see it matches pretty closely. And I'm going to go ahead and show you now how to stretch this hair. So let's back you up again. This part is honestly really easy. And to me, the easiest way to back it up, like you'll see some people where they'll go ahead and take it and stretch down at the bottom by pulling. I honestly just prefer to stretch out at the ends, and I'll grab a little bit of the ends of the hair on each side. So just so you can see the hair is off camera, I'm doing the same thing. And I just lightly stretch, and it begins to kind of pull some of those strands away from each other and naturally taper those ends down. And that way when I bring it back out, I can kind of finger comb through there, and it will gradually taper down on those ends. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want a blunt edge on there, okay? All right, so from here what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this hair, and I'm actually going, let me get it to focus here. There we go. I'm actually going to separate it out. So I'm taking this hair, and I'm gonna separate it to where in my right hand here, I have about half of the thickness that I have in my left hand here. So you can see the difference in thickness. Okay, I'm just going to take this thinner strand and wrap it around the thicker strand like so. So my thicker strand is here. My thin strand is this whole piece here, and it's just wrapping around there. And I'm just gonna pull it like this. So now I've got 3 strands. And just grip that knot right there in the middle. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and grip it like I'm cornrowing, which if you guys haven't seen my cornrow video, check that out. So I've got it between my middle finger and my thumb, and then my index finger is going to hold the next piece of my thumb, and the other piece I'll just let rest there, okay? Let's scoot you on in here. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by taking that section that I've already pinched off. I'm going to place it right at the scalp area. So I'm just picking up this hair and placing this right at the scalp. When I do that, I'm gonna pinch a little bit of hair and add it to that middle strand with my index finger and my thumb. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of hair here on this left side with that left strand. And that last bit of hair, as I go around to pick up with my index finger, my thumb on the other hand, I'm gonna scoop up the remaining hair. So now each of these strands has a strand of hair assigned to it. Now from there, I'm just gonna go ahead, keeping a nice grip on this hair, I'm going to begin braiding right on down. And honestly, once you get started with this part, it's really not bad. So after I kind of get it in there to where it feels like it's locked and secure, there's no risk of it sliding, then I can flip my hands like I do for underhand braiding. That's essentially what this is. And we are going to just kind of begin braiding right on down this hair. And I'm gonna start off a little slower here, which if you haven't watched my underhand braiding tutorial, I can link that up top as well. Okay, just making sure, since you're adding in extensions, every now and then you've got to go through, just drag your hands through the hair. Now, when I get down to the ends of the hair, you can kind of see like these little pieces that are trying to stick up here. We want to make sure that we slow down some when we start getting to the ends of the hair. So as we're getting to the ends of those hairs, I'm just going to slow down some and tighten up my grip a bit. And that's going to help keep those ends from coming out. Now, if they've recently had a haircut and their hair is naturally straight, you can mist it with a little bit of water down there, and as you're braiding, it'll hold into that braid a bit better. If the hair is naturally kinky or coily, you usually don't have to worry about that. Just blow the hair out some with a blow dryer before you start, and it'll blend right in with no problems. So from there, I'm just gonna go ahead and begin tightening up my grip on here and braid it down. Bring it down some here. All right, and then from there I'm just going to go ahead and begin picking up speed a bit. And we're going to braid this all the way down. Now, because we did that stretch in the beginning, it's going to actually cause that braid to taper down, which is fantastic. It just gives you a more natural look and feel to that hair. So hopefully you guys can kind of grasp and understand what I'm talking about there. Now, if you're doing something like box braids, I will tell you now, after you've done an entire head of these, wait for at least a week before you try pulling it up in a high ponytail, especially if you tend to be a bit more heavy-handed. You do not want to braid it down in one direction and then pull it up in the opposite direction. You can actually cause traction alopecia, and you do not want to cause any type of hair loss, which, by the way, traction alopecia is baldness due to pulling that hair too tight. So be careful anytime you're doing a braided style that you're not overdoing it with the tension on that braid, and you will notice a huge difference in how satisfied your clientele is when they are done. I'm just gonna move her over here real quick so I can show you on the ends of this hair. Move her out of the way. Okay, so once I get to the ends of this hair, you'll notice I have one strand that's significantly thinner than the others, so I can just gradually take and little pieces at a time, borrow from my strands right next to it, and then just continue braiding. It still feels a little thinner, so I'm feeling for my strands that are thicker, and I'm just gonna gradually steal from there, robbing Peter to pay Paul here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and continue right on through there. And you can kind of see how this begins to taper right on down. And that's all that we are doing. So once you have done this, I mean, you just basically start right back over. Let me know if this is a little bit too difficult. I'll see if I can do it on a larger scale if need be for you to catch with your eye, or possibly with a lighter color of hair, because lighter hair just catches better on camera. But hopefully you can kind of see that there. Let me bring you back up where we have a bit better lighting. Hopefully you can see that there where we've got our two braids, the knots on those braids. Can you see them? Let me know if everything is looking like it should on there. And then from there, the braids all the way down. Okay, those are some long braids, baby. All right, so let me know what you think in the comment box below. Notice how they taper down on the bottom, so it just gives a more natural feel. But let me know what you think in the comment box below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, God bless, and don't forget to stay glam. Bye, you guys.